Tonight, a Sydney service station erupts in flames, forcing evacuations. How a pregnant woman is about to make Australian medical history. Sydney's dress-up bandits, what they did to terrorise a shopkeeper. Our Olympic heroes welcomed home with a ticker tape parade through the city. Plus, beating Sydney's gridlock, is it faster to get out of your car and run?
This is 7 News with Mark Ferguson.
Good evening. Gas cylinders have erupted in flames during a fire emergency at a Liverpool petrol station. It forced the evacuation of nearby businesses and a school this afternoon, but fire crews managed to contain the blaze before it caused a catastrophe.
Jets of flame erupt from the burning gas cylinders. It was just after 1 p.m. the first explosion sent people running. Abby Tafali works at the restaurant next door. This is what he saw after getting the fright of his life.
Big explosion, the whole building shook. I knew straight away it was the gas bottle next door.
He was evacuated along with the Liverpool West Public School next door and a KFC and Aldi supermarket across the road.
They were shooting up approximately 10-15 metres in the air, and then the others started, catching on, and it was just amazing.
You can see the flame getting bigger and bigger because they're big cylinders.
Each of the cylinders could hold more than 400 litres of liquid gas. 6 fire crews surrounded the blaze, shutting down busy Hoxton Park Road. Knowing the LPG tanks would burn for hours, firefighters kept them under a constant cooling spray to prevent a massive explosion.
Given the nature of the job, there was an immediate response from the police and the fire brigade.
The cylinders finally empty of gas, the situation was under control. A huge relief for parents called to pick up their children from a nearby park.
I was very worried about her.
Firefighters believe the blaze was sparked accidentally, possibly due to carelessness. Neighbours have been warning about these gas cylinders for years.
This is exactly what we've been telling them was going to happen.
Live to Paul Caddick now. Paul, is any more known about how this happened?
Well, Mark, that's being investigated tonight. Firefighters say it was an accident and we're told someone was filling a gas bottle when this happened. Thankfully, no one was hurt. At least 8 of those big 200-kilogram gas cylinders have been burned and a car parked nearby has been incinerated. Police and WorkCover officials will continue investigating the scene tonight. Meantime, Hoxton Park Road has been reopened to traffic and people evacuated from their businesses have been allowed to return. Mark.
Paul Caddick at Liverpool, thank you. To breaking news now, and a truck crash has caused the cancellation of train services in Sydney's southwest. Heavy machinery on a flatbed truck was too high to make it under a bridge on Newbridge Road. Trains are suspended between Glenfield and Liverpool on the South Line until engineers decide if the bridge is stable. Buses are replacing trains. It's not known how long the disruption will last. Julia Gillard's leadership is under even more pressure tonight, with claims she could lose the Prime Minister's job within weeks. Labor colleagues are unhappy with how she's handled questions about her past as a lawyer.
Julia Gillard's day began with more predictions of the end.
What do you think? Could this be her undoing?
It could well be. I think she's in some serious strife.
Ms Gillard brushed off questions about her departure from law firm Slater & Gordon 17 years ago.
I've fully dealt with them and they were dealt with yesterday by Slater & Gordon as well.
The Australian newspaper claims she resigned after the firm investigated work she did for her former boyfriend, union boss Bruce Wilson, now accused of running a slush fund.
I expect to see some muckraking in the Parliament today, though, from the Liberal Party.
But having demanded she make a statement to Parliament yesterday, today Tony Abbott cooled his attack, calling the allegations
a legitimate subject of media interest. Thank you.
Do you believe that the coalition...
Nothing's really been alleged, let alone proved, but politics is all about perceptions, and key Labor figures are worried about how this is making Julia Gillard look in the electorate. With news poll out tomorrow, the leadership rumblings are already beginning.
She's gone from 30-70 to be deposed to probably 50-50, maybe even slightly worse than that.
As Parliament today delivered another first.
The Leader of the Opposition will remove himself from the chamber.
The first opposition leader to be sin-binned.
You could not help yourself.
Live now to our political editor Mark Riley. Mark, Kevin Rudd's been quiet for a while. Is he still after the top job?
Well, Mark, I don't think he'd knock it back if the party came to him and offered it to him, but he hasn't been agitating publicly. His supporters are saying that if that does happen, it needs to happen in the next few weeks. After that, it'd be too late, which really means that tomorrow's news poll will be very influential on the way that the party goes, Mark.
OK, Mark Riley in Canberra, thank you. Sunny spring weather and a big dose of pride ensured a perfect Sydney welcome for Australia's Olympic heroes today. Thousands of spectators lined George Street, eager to say thanks in the first of a series of homecoming parades around the country.
On George Street, it was raining green and gold.
It's awesome! Woo, go Australia!
Australia's Olympic stars meet their biggest fans, the public.
We've just had so much support, you know, from Australia, and obviously very well felt right now.
I can't believe how many people have come out to watch us today. It's awesome.
Just a few blocks through the city past tens of thousands. Easy, really, especially for a walker.
We really enjoy this week going around the country and, showing off our new medal.
And show them off they did. Swimmer Alicia Coots had the heaviest load. Everyone wanted to touch Olympic glory.
I just couldn't believe how heavy it was. It's true.
You're enjoying yourself?
Yeah, I'm having a great time.
Yeah. Letting anybody touch that?
A few people. I'm keeping it around my neck where they can have a feel.
Dual medalist sculler Kimberley Crowe was down to just her silver.
I actually broke my other one this morning, so I'm looking after it very well.
You broke your other one this morning? How did that happen?
I dropped it on the ground.
Everything was good for an autograph, no space left unused, and the athletes were happy to oblige.
You're going to get a sore wrist, Living.
I know. I'm going to get a sore cheeks as well from all the smiling.
Smiles and tears of joy.
And I'm crying, I can't help it.
Easy to see why.
Sydney today and Melbourne on Wednesday, then around the country. It's a national roadshow of Olympic parades saying welcome back and thank you.
They got the key to the city and life will start returning to normal.
I have to go back to school and finish all my Year 11 exams.
Before it's time to dream of Rio. Chris Marr, 7 News.
Most Sydney drivers stuck in peak hour traffic have probably wondered if they'd be better off on foot, man versus car. So 7 News put it to the test to see which is faster, a zippy little car or an ultra-marathon runner.
7:30 a.m. and Pat Farmer is limbering up, preparing to take on the morning traffic on foot. Do you think you might beat me?
Well, let's see how we go.
It's man versus machine, runner versus reporter in a 14-kilometre race from Strathfield to the city via Parramatta Road. At first, traffic was surprisingly light and the car took the lead. But as we edged closer to the CBD, the ultra-marathon runner started to gain ground.
Looks like a bit of a bottleneck up there.
At Petersham, he was just a few minutes behind. By the time we reached Central Station, he was hot on my tail.
This is the bit where I think that Pat might catch up to us. Once you get into the city, everything is just gridlocked.
Pat kept a steady pace, his two legs going where the Mazda's four wheels could not. The arrival at Channel 7's Martin Place News Centre was almost a dead heat.
Okay, let's see where Pat is. Looks like he's beat me.
By the time I could park and get to my desk, Pat was already there, making himself comfortable. 55 minutes to my 57. Congratulations.
Very good.
Mwah. I didn't think you'd beat me. You did it.
Well, you know, the traffic's pretty heavy.
He says authorities need to work out how to ease congestion in the heart of the city.
I don't know how it's done, maybe by car parks on a wider circle and then travellators underground on into the city.
He'd like to see more people running to work, if only we were all as fit as Pat. Jodie Spears, 7 News.
Still ahead in 7 News, how a man's death led to fears of an explosion at his Sydney home. The promise to parents about funding for children at school. Plus what this Sydney boy did for his mum to deserve a Heroes Award. That's next. A box of unexploded dynamite caused an emergency at Strathfield this afternoon. The bomb squad was sent in after Susan Martinello found sticks of the explosive and detonators in the roof of her deceased father's home.
I thought it was fireworks. I picked up the box and opened it up because I just thought it was in a cardboard box of an old cardboard box of some hairdressing products.
Officers conducted a controlled explosion in the backyard. Sport now with Mark Beretta, and the season's over for Anthony Minicello.
Yeah, Mark, he's facing the first suspension of his career for that bizarre hit in Canberra. That's next. Also, first they had Wolfman, now Wolverines joined Manly's charge for back-to-back titles. Plus, Paul Gallen hangs 10 and reveals who he wants to coach the Blues. And a broken ankle can't stop our world champ, Casey Stoner.
Look at that.